This is A Game, fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So, I usually have some type of video article to read, but not today. Just you and I, sisters, and I'm talking about why modern women love reality television so much. Recently, there's this Ariane Curry who gave an interview to Tasha K. Shout out to Tasha K. And apparently she's the mistress of, I want to say the guy's name is Martell from one of them reality shows. I'm vaguely familiar with his story that he was married and then he had like a long-term mistress or whatever. Now, while I don't know enough about that reality TV storyline to comment in any sort of way with it, I find that it's salacious and that a lot of people are talking about it. And I think I'm a little bit, I don't know if disappointed is the right word for it, but women love this kind of stuff. This is why soap operas were so popular. And now why reality TV is the new soap opera, right? It's reality television is for this generation what soap operas were for my mother's generation, for the boomers, things of that nature. Even before, because she said her mother, my grandmother, used to watch what the old folks used to call stories. And ever since they were stories, women have been buying into and allowing the television and what's shown on television when we're supposed to be adult enough to understand that these are fictional stories and fictional people and that these things aren't really realistic to be happening in our real world lives. Somewhere along the line, we began to take too seriously these things. And I think it really came about with reality television because of the word reality being thrown into it, at least with the soap operas. We used to call them stories, right? But now they're not called stories, they're called reality. And a lot of younger Black women, and some older ones, some that's too old to be doing it, actually do believe that even though it's scripted or whatever, they still believe that these people are living the way that they're portraying themselves to live or being portrayed on these shows. And it's a real dangerous thing because it's a perpetuation of, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But the first thing that I want to talk about is the reason why modern women love reality TV so much is because they get to live vicariously through the women that they see. These women they are looking up to. These women are often portrayed as high earning or high value women. Okay. Either they got their money because they were married or are married to some rich man, or they got their money through a divorce from a rich man, or they were able to have some type of business or something like that they were able to develop. And so these women are looked up to by the women who are watching them. They're often portrayed in a very glamorous way. Like these women are, when you watch these shows, you're supposed to look at these women as some of the most beautiful, physically attractive, desirable women in society. And when young women see those types of images and that's the underlying thought pattern, then they automatically are going to try to be those women, or they're going to try to come as close to being like those women in their own lives as they possibly can. Okay. So the next thing is they're able to criticize or champion the women that they dislike or identify with. So they're able to criticize the women who come on that the general consensus of the audience is that we don't like this cast member. We don't like what she said. We don't like what she did. We don't like how she looks, or we don't like her interaction with maybe a favorite cast member or something like that. And, so there's got to be a fulfillment of the tropes. And it's really a perpetuation of a bunch of stereotypes. The mean girl thing, the clique thing, the if you ugly, you can't be part of us type situation. The one woman in the group that's the oddball that has to be demonized. Then you got the one or two other women in the group that's supposed to be the head honchos of the group. They kind of run the group or whatever. They're the alphas or the bosses, of the group or what have you. Sort of like Shawnee O'Neal was on, especially on the original Basketball Wives show. Her and Evelyn were like the head honchos on the show. If you couldn't get along with them, if you couldn't make friends and make nice with them, then you were kind of outed on the show, or you were at least demonized on the show. Like Evelyn and Jennifer didn't get along. So Jennifer was like out and nobody liked her. Nobody liked Jennifer. Even the audience didn't like Jennifer, So, and this is like, I went way back because I haven't watched those reality television shows since their first real early seasons were airing years ago. It's been more than a decade now. I don't tune into any of them anymore. So the bits and pieces that I hear about them come from like social media, you know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. You hear a clip, you see a clip, you hear about somebody, you might watch it or something like that. So that's how I get the reality TV thing. But I watched enough of them back in the day when they were first making the big splashes with the Love and Hip Hops and with the Basketball Wives. When they were first doing it, I got to see the paradigm. I got to see the structure of those shows. And I began to understand how dangerous they were, even though I personally never took them seriously, because what they do on television doesn't have anything to do with what I do in real life. A lot of other women actually did. Okay. A lot of other women really did take it kind of seriously. And they were taking life lessons and cues from the women, from the way they carried their relationships with men, from the way they carried their relationships with each other, worldviews, child rearing, etc. And when we talk about how they take the cues from the women on television about their relationships, how they talk to their men, how they treat their men, and it's levels to it, right? Because then you have shows like Love and Hip Hop, and they got so many of them, the New York one, and then they got the Atlanta one and all this other type of stuff. So they got all of that. And that's the ratchet level. You got women that's flat cussing their men out, husbands, boyfriends, whatever the case may be. You got them flat cussing them out, standing toe to toe, calling them all types of names, and what have you, in a super masculine energy when he makes them mad or when he does something that she deems inappropriate, and then a lot of that entitlement gets reinforced, where the women feel like anything can be disrespect, especially when it comes to men. If he says something to another woman, or, if he looked at a woman a certain way or something like that, that can always be taken as a form of disrespect. And this is how I got to handle it. This is how a boss chick handles her man when he disrespects her or whatever. You don't have to be a husband. This is be a dude you've been kicking it with for a couple of months. It doesn't matter. This is why these chicks feel entitled to get guys' phones, They've been only talking to him a couple of weeks, no type of commitment, not even saying that they're exclusive together, not even saying boyfriend and girlfriend, and she feels entitled to take his phone and feel like if he's talking to another girl while he's talking to you, y'all only been kicking it for a couple of weeks, he's cheating. Okay, so it's not cheating because y'all aren't together. And but she still feels entitled. Where is she getting these cues from? Yeah, she could be getting it from the real life examples in her life, but more often than not, this younger generation are getting their cues from social media and from television, right? Because this is the age of the social media. See, we didn't have this growing up in Gen X. We didn't have, you know what I'm saying, all of this access to the internet. Our internet access was very, very limited. And there was no such thing really as social media, especially the way that it is now, how prolific it is now. So a lot of these young girls are getting their, you know what I'm saying, cues and life lessons and how they're supposed to be acting from social media, from reality televisions, because they glued to it. All of these shows take up all of these girls' time, and they trying to dress like them. They trying to talk like them. That's where all these little hashtags come from, and these little, you know, quick little quips and all this type of stuff, the little witticisms. That's where all that stuff come from. Okay, it come from reality television, like when Kenya Moore said, "I'm fabulous. I'm gone with the wind, fabulous." Everybody was gone with the wind, fabulous. You know what I'm saying? And it was a meme and it was funny and all this other type of stuff. But it's coming from that place, right? Then they're getting how they should talk to each other or how they should be with one another in friendship. In reality TV shows, they fallout makeup, and there is no boundary that was too low before another woman come along and be like, you know, it should be time for you two to make up. You can't be just mad at her. You know, we women gotta stick together, and you know, we gotta empower one another, and we gotta try to be sisters, and you know, we gotta try to get along, and it doesn't matter what boundary or line, you know what I'm saying, these women cross with one another. They can sleep with each other, man. They can, you know what I'm saying, fight one another. They can curse one another. They can talk about each other's kids or whatever the case may be. And then you'll see it next season or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It'll be like, y'all should make up. And it's like, what if I want to make up? Well, what if she really crossed that line with me for real and it wasn't about no camera and I don't mess with her like that? And then it's all crazy anyway. That's where these young girls are getting that whole warped sense of sisterhood where you get to back another woman no matter what she does. And thinking that sisterhood is coming together and being able to go on these little trips and stuff like that. And that's how you're supposed to bond. But it's all a fake bond. Everybody's got a secret. Everybody's got skeletons in the closet that they're hiding from one another. This one know about this secret. That one carrying a bone back and forth from this one to that one. This one know all the tea. That one gonna spill the tea. You know, and all of this sort of madness that goes on. But then there's also a feeling of reinforcement and validation for their similar thinking and behavior. The women that watch these reality TV shows get that sense of validation for their warped thinking and how their bad behavior is in real life, and saying, okay, if these women who are more successful, more beautiful than I am are acting this way, and it's supposedly acceptable where they are, people still deal with them, people still interact with them, people still are giving them the time of day, then in my life, it should be the same. I should be able to get away with horrible behavior. I should be able to get away with cursing people out. I should be able to get away with being masculine and being entitled at the same time. Talking to men crazy, talking to other women crazy, even going into business and professional environments and acting a fool over there and still expecting that people are going to deal with me in a professional way. So they look up to these women because these women are at the top of the cream of the crop of the lost value system. These women have gained or the appearance of having gained financial wealth. But if we notice in the lost value system, wealth and spirituality do not touch. They never touch. So these women are supposedly wealthy. Supposedly. Some of them actually are. Some of them is cap. Okay. But supposedly these women are financially wealthy, they living these fabulous lives, but these are horrible people. So that reinforces the lost value system thinking. That reinforces that, yes, if I make it to a certain financial strata, if I look the part, I get to be a horrible piece of crap as a person. But as long as I have this status and this finances and I look a certain way, then I'm supposed to be able to get away with basically murder. People are just supposed to deal with me, and I feel entitled to do that. So this is why the modern woman loves reality television so much, and really why we should be advocating for reality TV to go away, or at least be changed in some type of way. But it has had such success perpetuating and glamorizing the lost value system that they're not going to change it, because it's too good of a vehicle to keep indoctrinating young girls into it over and over and over. Okay, so sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.